do, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad. I'm with the RC Supremacy, and you guys already know we're out here scaling and sending. And today, it's probably going to be one of the hardest videos we've produced, not only in the last 6 months we've been going at it, but years to come. We're going to be introducing a series of driver profiles, the who's who, the local scene of drivers, and honestly, I'm super gracious. This gentleman's taking the time to join us on the channel. I drift with him day in and day out. Super excited. He needs no introduction. This man is on the US scene, the international scene, killing it. And without further ado, guys, Manny Neto.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome to the RC Supremacy driver profile. Got a little mask going on in here. New build. You know how it is. Sit back, relax. Let's have a little talk.
Again, Manny, thanks for taking the time with us, and let's get things started by giving us a little quick about me, maybe your RC background and intro into drift, and take it from there.
Hey guys, so my name is Neto, nickname is Manny. I'm 39 years old, I'm Brazilian. Started my history with model cars a long time ago in '93 with slot cars. We had a really nice scene in my town. I went at it pretty seriously, about 10 years, joining multiple national championships. Was able to get a national title in 2001. From that, I got myself into go-karts. I raced for about 6+ months. Started skydiving. Decided to move to the US in 2003. Became an instructor. I was pretty busy with jumping, but always felt like I wanted to have a hobby with models, you know. I got myself into RC airplanes. A few years after that, I started with RC helicopters. The helicopters kind of took me away from the planes. I got pretty hooked on them, and I, for some reason, always thought that would never get into cars because they weren't that challenging. But after I saw a video of a really nice track, some super scale scene of RC drifting, I definitely was intrigued and very interested, and got myself a car. And after that, you know, it's all history. Here we are now, 6 years later, having a blast.
So after getting into the drift scene, how long was it that you found your local competitions and then moved it over to your international scene?
Well, I was pretty lucky to have the track not so far from my house, about 20 minutes away.
And when you're referring to track, you're talking about JDM, correct?
Yes, JDM Speedway. I was able to be at the track every day that they were open. You know, never missed a day for a good year. So I was able to pick it up relatively quick. I was able to bring my background on you know, the slot cars, the planes, the helicopters, the attention to detail, the precision with you know, building and all that. So I relatively soon after I started, I want to say about 3 months, I started joining the local competitions.
Now, quickly to chime in, did you start directly into rear wheel drive drifting, or were you counter steer it for a small amount of time and then convert it to your straight rear wheel drive?
Yeah, back in it was October of 2013 when I started drifting. There was still no chassis that was specifically made for rear wheel driving. We were all into counter steering for, I believe, the first 2+ years, and then
that was from 2013 to 2015
until 2015.
Okay.
So then the slowly the scene started, the rear wheel driving started taking place, more and more drivers playing with it. If I can recall, the first rear wheel drive specific chassis was the FXX from MST. There was a driver at the track that got one, and then slowly another guy got one and another one, and some guys got into just converting their counter steer cars into rear wheel drive, and that's what I did. We're really into it, and it's slowly kind of pushed the counter steering chassis away to the point that then everybody was just doing the rear wheel drive.
So taking the rear wheel drive seriously and moving in that direction, things got a lot more serious. The competition started getting more scale. They started getting a lot more competitive. After finding that local scene and starting to kind of dominate and niching your way, did you immediately know you're going international, or did you start getting some support through sponsorship, and then eventually knew that that's where you needed to be to compete?
Yeah, it took some time, slowly becoming more, better and better at the competitions. I was lucky to be able to have really good results in multiple competitions, and that's when the sponsors, some sponsor help started coming. And that's when we decided to, let's bring the game to the international level. I decided to join the D110 World Championships in Holland. Shout out to my buddy Michel out there. And from there on, I never missed one. We've been there every year, 4 years.
That's from 2016?
16, 17, 18, and this year.
Beautiful.
And in 2017, we went to Holland in June. It's usually always in the middle of the year. And then in October, I went to the Thailand Drift Championships, hosted by another great friend, Mr. Wee from DS Ray. 2018, we did Worlds, and in December went to Japan, which is an absolute blast of a trip. Japan is a special place for us that do this.
And the event that you're referring to, for those that don't know, that second event in December, correct?
Yes.
Which event was that?
That is called the YDM, the Yokomo Drift Meeting. They call it a special round.
And would you say that's probably one of the top and noteworthy events to attend, obviously, on the international scene?
Yes, of course. Definitely would recommend D110 Worlds to everybody. That is the event with the most drivers. This year, for instance, we had something like 250 something drivers, which is incredible.
All rear-wheel drive.
All rear-wheel drive, yes. Japan was something like 90 something guys, also a big turnout. And Japan has the extra of just being the place where all of this was born,
right, the spot, the aura,
yes.
the energy.
Exactly, and plus the place, it's awesome, walking downtown, some of the hobby stores in there, the tracks, everything is just, it's a full, you're fully immersed in the RC world in there. Kind of like a dream. You're there for a week, and all of a sudden you're on the plane flying back home thinking, what the hell just happened, you know? So Japan is an incredible experience. And then this year, 2019, we did D110 at Holland, and again going to Japan in December.
So a couple months you'll be back out in Japan for the for that same event.
Yes,
excellent,
sir.
man. Good luck
Yes,
to
sir.
you. Good luck
Thank
to
you
you.
very
We'll
much.
definitely be following and supporting that. Being there's so many aspects to the drift enjoyment. Besides competing, what else do you enjoy most about the hobby?
Drifting is it can be very complex. It depends on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. Personally, I really enjoy the performance side of it. Trying to tune the car to exactly what you want it to do, which always kind of leaves you with that feeling that it's never perfect, it's never done, it's never finished. It's this diamond that you can always polish and have an extra cut that would make it even prettier, even better. So with that being said, I really like the tinkering side of it. Always trying to find a new tune, trying to squeeze a little more performance out of it in all aspects of the drive. Sometimes it's about speed, sometimes it's about handling, how well the car is holding angle, coming into corners, mid-corner, getting out of the corner. Those things that everybody needs to play with at some points. And also enjoy building shells. I'm no one near some of the guys that are out there, like Mr. Vivian from SRC. Shout out to you, brother. He's the current world champion of best body contest at D110 championships in Holland. But I do enjoy the process of making a shell and everything that goes with it. The cutting, the shell, masking, painting, sometimes spray cans, sometimes airbrushing, and some of the scale parts that go with it, trying to make it look really nice. That's always a fun thing to do, making the car look good on the track too. And pretty much those things. I enjoy a lot of the building also.
In going back to your tuning, Manny, and how much you stress it, personally, just experience when I first met you was down at an event at Drift Lab, and it was one of the first big events that I was in attendance of. There was over 30 drivers there, and it's and you had an unbelievable setup as far as tuning sheets and the way you dissected and went about your chassis prior to competing. Can you go into a little bit of that drive and I don't have anything unfortunately to show these guys, but you set up as if you're back at home, the comfort of being at home. Yes. and kind of having the grasp on that. Can you go into that a little?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that when you go out to a competition, you need to bring everything that you could possibly need. So all of my tools are with me, all of the extra parts that I need, the components that I might want to try because the track is a different surface, it's a different layout, maybe, you know, a different kind of motor, maybe a different kind of shock setup. So it's always a good idea to be bringing things that you might want to change to be able to get what you're looking for. So this aspect of RC drifting can get complex because there's multiple components to the car, as y'all know. So sometimes you might not remember how you built the shock or what kind of setup you have on your ESC and things like that. So I'm a guy that likes taking notes. Some things now are very user-friendly. The ESCs have the apps that you can just quickly go on the phone and see what kind of tuning you have. But some other things you might end up forgetting because you did it a long time ago, like how you built your shock, or what toe you have in the rear of the car, and things like that. So I like taking notes of some things so I know exactly what's going on, and if I have to change, I know what I have and I know where I should go with it. And also being able to help people out when they ask, oh, what do you have in this part of the car? What do you run for this? What do you use for that? So when you write things down, it could be a piece of paper or a setup sheet, it helps you to even memorize what you got going on in your car, so you would be able to be answering those questions pretty quick and
yeah, no, and it helps tremendously to have, you know, knowledge like yourselves at trackside that are willing to help, you know, those that don't, you know. And of course, you know, representing the brand Yokomo, it really it's helpful because the majority of the market is Yokomo at the moment, and with the knowledge you do have and being trackside, it's huge. And if you see him at the track, don't be afraid to approach and ask questions. For sure. And definitely try to pick his brain on some of that. So what's the future other than competing? Do we have any aspirations in product development, any influence in developing chassis?
Well, I am very aware that the industry is in the hands of very talented people. We have people like Hayato Masuzaki, Takahiro, Mr. Aso, Kim Grande, you know, all of the guys from Overdose. So the industry, it's in definitely great hands as far as developing goes. People with, you know, technical experiences that are far beyond what I have. So we always try to keep a close relationship with those guys. I'm fortunate to be friends with all of them, so always bouncing ideas back and forward, trying to troubleshoot things sometimes, asking about what if we try this, what if we try that. That is something that makes a big difference for sure. But we would definitely can never say never as far as maybe getting into the developing side of the industry. Had the opportunity to drive multiple brands and various different kinds of chassis. So each one has a different way that you can tune, different possibilities of what you can do to it regarding to how you want it to react, depending on track surface, track layout. So we definitely have ideas for some things. and who knows, maybe one day we can get into helping out with developing products for sure.
Alrighty, Manny. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Again, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and get in depth. But who would you like to shout out? Who do you want to thank for getting you here? And where can we find you in the future?
Well, would like to leave a big shout out and a big thanks to my sponsors, Yokomo and RC Boss. They've been a huge help in my time in the hobby for sure. Obviously, you can't forget about family, you know, that understand that sometimes we need to spend some time in the track working on stuff. We'll be trying to keep it going for as long as we can. We're out here in Florida, Dory Lounge. We have a really nice scene going now, and always looking forward to the international competitions. I personally think that it would take a very serious circumstance to keep me from growing to V110 in Holland and going back to Japan. Those two trips are trips that are very dear to me. I'm gonna always try to be going, and on the meantime, we're out here. Give us a shout on Facebook if you need help with anything. We can help from building tips to tuning ideas, things about trying to get a little more performance out of the car, helping out with building shells. So we're here to help, and looking forward to seeing you guys in the next event.
Absolutely, man. We do look forward to that. And really quickly, is there anywhere we can follow the results for that upcoming event to check you out in the near? I'll link it in the description, or put it on the screen.
Yeah, well, they still don't have. Usually, they have a live feed.
Okay.
And I can let you guys know whenever the feed is available. For sure, we'll let you guys know. Just make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, and stay tuned. And remember, keep drifting fun. It's a hobby. Don't take yourself too seriously. There's always somebody that can help with an issue, and just have fun with it. Enjoy it. All right, guys. See you next time.
RC supremacy, look what RC